morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where in the world you are, and of course, what time of day or night it is either. Welcome to the podcast Up on the Edge with Al and Owen. I'm your host, Alan Neild, Big Al, or just Al, whatever you want to call me. And each week, I'm going to be joined by regular co-host Owen Sherratt and other special guests along the way too. Right, let's get right into it. This is the podcast Up on the Edge. There you go. How are you, mate?
All right, pal. How are you?
Rough as a bear's ass.
See, that's the only trouble. I don't drink on Christmas Eve, because and it's habit. Because obviously, when the kids were little, you'd have to get up dead early with them.
I can't even start to tell you, mate. I just feel like my whole body is hanging out my ass right now. It's just red wine, red wine,
and that's before the sprouts.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't be asked getting dressed either. I hope you don't mind.
No, not at all. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've got up, I've thrown a quick jumper on, be all Christmas, load my presents, and I'll get changed into a shirt in a bit. So,
right,
you know,
yeah.
It's Christmas morning. Just lounge around, grab something out. Open the presents with my mum every night. That's a lovely tree you've got there, Al.
What is it? Yeah, do you like it?
It's nice that, yeah. It was
yeah.
Ready-made like that.
No, but it would be nice if somebody actually invented one. That shut up.
They do. They used to be able to get them from B&Q, shout out the box, and you pull it out and it opened up and everything was already on it.
Really?
Just tied it up a little bit and it's done.
Just bear with me a second because I'm getting messages from our guest. Here we go. What's he doing now? There you go. Copy and paste that. I know it works.
Yeah, well, I'm in that, so...
You're it. Yeah. But you will understand that, you know, this guy's had a few knocks to the head.
Yeah.
So he's oh, here we go. He's here. He's in. The lad's in. Let me get him in. Let me get him in. Who's through the square window today? Christmas Day, right? You've got to get a legend in, right? Whoever you are, you need to start your little camera and also your microphone down here.
Somewhere.
The anticipation's killing me.
I know, yeah. It was a lovely picture, isn't it? Is that him?
That's him, yeah. He lives. Oh, right. Hey,
there you go.
Baz. How are you, lad?
How we doing, Arky? There's some nice shirts behind you.
What? Oh, just a bit of it's a bit of Rob Burrow memorabilia. Not Rob Burrow memorabilia, but stuff people have given me for my mate Rob. So.
Oh, I thought you meant stuff you'd robbed.
Well, it looks like somebody's robbed your shirt there because there's a coat hanger with nothing on it.
I know, yeah. That's just about wearing it.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Hey, look at you, lot, dressed already. I was pissed as a fart last night, so I've not even got dressed yet.
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't you be blaming this on me, by the way. Don't blame it on the rugby player.
Why?
I've done a thousands of these, and they've never gone round the houses like it just did then. But anyway, we're on.
We have the same problems all the time with him, Barry. Leave it to me, Al says, and then it never goes right.
Listen, I've got the video evidence anyway, so it's all right. I'm in the club. Yeah. How are you anyway?
Good. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to a good chat, good catch up. Not seeing you for a bit, pal.
No, exactly. You look fantastic, by the way. You've slimmed down and everything, lad.
Well, typically at this time of year, I would say the bulk of November, I'll have a bit of a charity blast. I've done all manner of different things, and we did have something planned for my mate Rob Burrow, but that all sort of got changed, and I suppose we'll talk about Kevin a bit and what he did.
Yeah.
But then December, I'm just on the drink all the time. I'm just out, so my body doesn't know what's hit it. And all I've been doing is training a little bit, the bit that we can anyway.
Last time we were out proper, Owen, me and Barry, we did a sportsman's dinner for, who did we do? Oh, Stephen Hill.
Still at St. Joseph's.
St. Joseph's, that's right.
Yeah. Is that the teacher that goes?
That's right.
Yeah.
I went to school with Steve. with Steve.
Oh, I didn't know that. Anyway, so Barry says to me, we sat on top table, says, This is a Friday night. So what are you doing this weekend, Al? I said, nothing, mate. I've got a weekend off. It's going to be fantastic. Oh, he says, we're off to Dublin. He said, there's a lot of us going to Dublin. He says, come with us, we're going on piss. I went, if you think I'm going to Dublin with you lot, you're going to know the thing coming. I said, anyway, I don't drink. He said, perfect, you can drive minibus for us.
Did you go, Al?
No.
I'll tell you what, it's a tight sod, isn't it? I'd have drove me.
I've seen the video evidence of the shit that was going on. You should have seen him trying to get over a fence that was only about a metre high. It's all.
That is not me. I've told you a million times.
It's you. It's you.
Not me. It's not me. I love Ireland. I've family connections over there as well. But I'll probably get over there 2 or 3 times a year. I might go over to watch a bit of sport, whether it's the GAA, rugby union, occasionally a rugby league match on. Get over there with my dad and my son, father-in-law.
Wow.
Brother-in-law, uncle, we all get over and have a few days. And then I have a wild one with some rugby league lads who I used to play with. So Terry O'Connor and a few of the old timers. We have a sort of a smash and grab. It's about 24, 25 hours that we're there. It probably involves about 2 or 3 hours sleeping. And the rest of the time is just down in the black stuff. So one of my favourite places, if not my favourite place on earth, Dublin.
Wow. I've never ever been to Ireland.
Have you not?
You should do.
It's brilliant, But Dublin's very expensive, isn't it?
Yes. I'm saying Dublin's my favourite place because it's the meeting point where we catch up with some pals over there. But the various parts, I've not explored it as much as I would like to. Had a look at Limerick, been down at the bottom, Bantry. Had what I thought would be a pleasant car ride, but it's all single lane traffic. Overtaking tractors and all sorts. So it's a beautiful place, Ireland.
I've just had a brain fart, right? And this is probably because I'm still hungover, but my mate Owen here has just got himself a brand new motorhome.
It's not brand new, but I've got a motorhome, Has it had a chance to use
Gino,
it
Gordon and Fred, Mark II. I can feel it coming on right now.
I'm just thinking what the suspension might be, because I'm a big lad. I'm just looking at you two. I know you, Al. I've seen you in real life. You're a big lad as well. It might have to be a very heavily suspended suspension. You know, some kind of HGV vehicle. One of them that's stranded down in Dover.
Or proper Winnebago.
That's it. That'd be cool, though, wouldn't it?
I mean, Ireland's a great place. I stayed in Youghal once where they filmed the film Moby Dick. Just outside of Cork it is, because I went to Cork and the woman said, we fucked up solid in Cork, your best bet, just drive back a bit, stay in Youghal. And I stayed in a place called the Sir Walter Raleigh Hotel. And on the village itself, there's about 13 pubs. And it's got to be no more than a mile. And all these pubs are lined up there. Anyhow, we'd been out and went through all these pubs, all fairly quiet. And Prince Nassim fought as well. That's how long ago it was. Right. And we got back to the hotel and it was hammered in the hotel. And the woman behind the bar says, "Oh, you're residents, aren't you?" And she walks over to the couple sat at the table. "You pair, feck off. Here, sit here." God. Couldn't imagine that anywhere. But brilliant place. And
very hospitable people, the Irish. Very brilliant. Obviously, without going too deep into the politics and, the things that have gone on in years gone by, you can bump into the odd person who wants to flare up and wants to have an heated debate, because they love a debate, they love a drink, they love a fight, they love a sing. Sometimes it's in that order as well.
Yeah. So I mean, that used to just be a regular Friday night out, didn't it?
Yeah. At Monty's anyway.
So what? Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. What happens on these tours then with the rugby lads? When you go over to Dublin, what does it consist of? Is it just drink? And what you do that as well?
What goes on tour stays on tour.
Correct. That's what I was getting at. Just good people, good music. I love live music, live bands, and typically the way I'm sort of living my life now is I think it's probably always been this way, but it's sort of a different version of it. Is within that February to October, I'm locked in, I'm committed. Back in the day, it was about being fit and athletically and mentally ready to play rugby. But now it's just making sure I'm on top of my game. You lads will know, whatever profession you're in, if you don't do your homework, if you're not prepared, not had enough sleep the night before, all those things that just knock a couple of percent off what you're doing, off your performance, then you end up you're well short of what you can do.
You look as good as what you did in your playing days right now, though. You look well right now.
I enjoy what I'm doing. I've probably had 9 or 10 operations since I finished playing, and there's some interesting stuff going on now about dementia with footballers heading football. We've got we've got concussion to a larger degree, but the bones you break, the joints you dislocate, the tendons and ligaments you tear off the bone, it does some damage. So to answer the question that you asked, Al, I'm in a great place. I love my life. Got 3 kids that are doing really well. My son's an assistant teacher down at Varna, down towards Piccadilly Station that way. My daughter works in Oldham as a dental nurse, and then my youngest daughter works with her mum in an hairdresser's in Leeds. So they're all doing really well. They're all well balanced, and my wife has an expression: you're only as happy as your saddest child, and our 3 kids are doing great. So in the world that we're living in now, in everything that's going on, you've got to count your blessings. I've got a very close friend of mine that's really struggling with a MND. So it's forced all of us to start talking again, picking up the phone to one another, arranging visits to go and see him, arranging bits of fundraisers or any way we can do to support him. So I try to count my blessings. That doesn't mean I don't get wound up by politicians telling lies all over the place. I don't get wound up with what we can and can't do. I just try and settle myself down and try and be a bit, get it in context.
So 2 occasions you've alluded to Rob Burrows. This is something that, Rob only found out about the disease 2 years ago? 12 months
ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And motor neurons disease is one of the worst diseases on the planet.
Yeah.
So how's it affected him, and what have you guys done to sort of help him out?
We've done a lot, actually. Between us, there's probably 25, 30 of us, but then you extend that, you've got another 25 or 30 that have played with him and against him. Then you've got another sort of 300 to 500 that feel connected with him because we're all rugby league lads. And then it just goes on. There's more layers. There's more people listening to his stories. So I guess the big things are the game that was in January. Unfortunately, I just had a shoulder operation. So regrettably, I couldn't play in that game, which I was gutted about. But what I could do is get the wheels in motion for Sky TV to film it. And everybody watched it. It went on to another level then. Because everyone who's got Sky or a dodgy box, if you live on Durka, was able to watch the game and able to just have a look into the fondness and affection that we all feel for Rob. So the first one was the game. I personally have been involved in 2 or 3 other things. One of them is a horse, Burrow 7, the horse. Met some guys from Wigan who I knew through business. Basically, everybody's bought a share in the horse. There's thousands of people bought shares in this horse at 59 quid. It's due to race at the beginning of next year, and it's named after Rob in honour of his number, which is 7 in his name, Burrow 7. But I guess the most recent thing, and by far the most impressive thing, and we're all really proud of him. Proud of him because he's an older man. Proud of him because you see him walking the streets or running the streets, whatever he's doing. But secondly, because he's just a good lad. He's born and bred in Springhead, still lives round here. He won't let me give his address out. But what Kevin Sinfield did is just remarkable, and I think it's captured the nation. So we can be proud of him as a town, but we can also be proud of him as mates. I know Rob's, beside himself saying thank you. He says thank you on a daily basis, 12, 15 times. But he's a hell of a human being, is Rob, and it's very sad. Motor neurons disease is like watching a big block of ice melt.
Right. Yeah.
In front of you.
Yeah.
It's literally melting in front of you. But what I think the worst part of it is, the person can see it melt as well. The person, I think if it's dementia or stuff like that, they don't know what's going on. They're not sure because they're not in the right mind. And cancer, you've almost got a chance. I'm not saying one is any worse or less. I'm just saying my experience of this disease is just horrendous. Because
Owen,
for him.
Did you actually clock what Kevin Sinfield did a couple of weeks ago?
No, I didn't see it. I know you've mentioned it, Al, just before tonight, and of course, Barry's mentioned it tonight. But no,
so what he's done is to raise awareness and raise funds for Rob Burrows, who's sadly got motor neurons disease. He ran 7 marathons in 7 days.
Wow, some going that, isn't it,
mate? It's ridiculous, isn't it? I'd be ecstatic if I could train to the extent that I could pull 1 marathon off, let alone 7 in 7 days. It'd take me 6 months to recover from the first one.
That's the
listen,
thing.
I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark here. You two are not familiar with marathon running. Marathon running, I did a marathon. I tried to get under 5 hours. I'm a fit lad, nowhere near as fit as the marathon runners that you watch on a weekend when the London Marathon is on. That's the one I did twice. So for me to get under 5 hours was a thing I couldn't get to. I just couldn't get to the level, fitness, capacity, all the rest of it. Kev Sinfield aimed to do them all under 4 hours and ended up running them somewhere between 3:30 and 3:48, 3:49.
Wow.
So phenomenal.
It's good going, isn't it?
Yeah. And he's a rugby lad. He's got all the scars. He's got all the legacy of a rugby career, 500 and odd games. So not a normal bloke in any way, shape, or form. But Owen, if you don't know nothing about Kevin Sinfield or rugby league, or anything about the situation that Rob Burrow has been in, you just take a look on the internet, see what Kev's done, and the way that the BBC, to be fair to them, the BBC just give him the platform to tell the story every single day. Sally Nugent, the reporter, was amazing and was genuinely interested in what was going on and why.
Yeah. So it's nice when they're like that, though, isn't it? Because a lot of the time they might do a quick flash sequence and they never hear anything again. But obviously, if someone's prepared to take the ball and run with it, for want of a better phrase, then that's brilliant. That, because, like you say, so many things start off running like that and then they just fizzle out.
I think it was because it caught the nation's attention so much. I mean, there was people lying in the streets every time he did a marathon. There was people at the start. There was people at the finish. I think even my daughter made it on the TV. They asked to do a little bit of an interview. I know you was training with him as well, mate.
Well, I trained with him quite a bit, not to the extent that would have done him any good. It was more moral and emotional support. Then when he did his 7 in 7, because of the rule of 6, we as his mates, as his rugby mates, couldn't get involved. We all had to interchange. A few of us did a little bit with him. And because he planned to go to Saints, Warrington, those rugby areas, Bradford, Leeds, he really got crushed down. So he did 5 of the 7 round here. And you know what it's like in Saddleworth. You're either running up or running down.
And the running down's as bad as the running up, isn't it?
Absolutely, really challenging. So proud of him. So 2.5 million they raised and still
ridiculous amount of money still coming in.
Before we move on, and the money that he's raised, some of it was for Rob. We all sat round the table. A lot of the lads had said, we want to raise this. We had this figure. We did that. And then the surplus that he's raised now will make a difference to lives, to families, to research development into this dreadful disease. So it's a nice note to move on. Terrible that it's happened to such a lovely lad, but people who've got involved are making a difference.
I'm just going to bite on something else before we do move on, actually, because the figure that was set initially was nothing like the figure that was raised, was it?
No.
What was
Rob's number was 7. So Kev set out to raise 77,777 quid.
Yeah.
Quickly, we all saw. I'm saying we. I wasn't involved, and I wasn't involved in those conversations, but asked to do a bit of promotion. Tell everybody. It then bumped up to 777,777 quid. I'm testing my maths out. I only went to St Albans, mate. So then, when it passed a million, there were all kinds of things going on. Is that your tea?
No, my mum's dug me some tinsel out because it's Christmas.
Couldn't make it up, could you?
No.
So £777,777, and I watched it roll over the figure.
Yeah.
Right. And we were feeding, we did our little bit, and I'll say a little bit because it was, there was people clearly putting in a damn sight more money than us. But it just carried on, didn't it? Where did it go from there?
Yeah. At last count, it was 2.5 million. It keeps bouncing up and down because a lot of these charity places where you put the money, there's commission to come off, and there's all kinds of loopholes. But yeah, I reckon it'd be about 2.5 when it's finished. So yeah, I would love not to be doing it, but so proud of the people involved for what they've done.
Yeah.
Let me just talk a little bit now about Barrie McDermott, right? So rugby, I've been doing a little bit of research because it's all about the research. Oldham, Wigan, Leeds Rhinos, Bramley, Widnes, Super League Championship, Challenge Cup final, Great Britain, Sky Sports pundit. I mean, this is good. Is your biggest achievement to date voicing advertisements on the radio for the Revolution?
Absolutely. And how long did it take us? About 40 minutes?
No.
Oh, good me.
I could tell. Natural.
Bish, bash, bosh.
Bish, bash, bosh. Now, do you remember what the advert were for?
It was for my mate, Kev Smith. Was it KDC Decorating?
That was.
Or was it another business he had?
What was it? A sandwich shop?
Well, now you're asking. I thought it might have been a friend of his then. My mate, Kev Smith, asked me to do it. So it might have been a colleague or a friend of his.
Right.
Was it a sandwich shop?
I'm pretty certain it was a sandwich shop, right? Because we posted a couple of days ago on the internet. I'm interviewing Barrie McDermott, myself and Owen, for the podcast. Have we got any questions for him, right? And somebody turned around and said, once remembered, I tell you it was Tarquin. Now, Tarquin was the big guy that was the tech op and did all the electronics and one thing another Revolution. He says, I remember Barrie coming in and he voiced an advert for a sandwich shop, and we asked him to ad lib, and he came out with fuller than a fat girl's shoe.
Yes. Unfortunately, that is one of my sayings. But I can sit back and say I'm full as a fat girl's shoe, and now obviously you get hammered, don't you? Quite rightly. It's very insensitive, and I am a bigger man myself. But,
no, mate, listen, comedy's comedy. That's all it is, and there's no offence meant in any way, shape, or form.
Did that make it onto the radio?
No, that was one that evaded, to be honest with you.
I wonder why, Al.
Well, I've got no idea. Graham Wheeler also says, do you know Graham Wheeler, by the way?
Of course I do, yeah.
Right, he
all
says...
the Wheelers, there's about 1,000. They're Durker lads, no wrong with Durker.
There's 2,000 of them. Yeah, and don't pick a fight with one of them because you end up with all 2,000 on you.
Yeah, and the girls are tougher than the lads by a long shot.
Absolutely.
It's usually the way, though, isn't it?
Hey, I've played in bands with Graham for years. He's a phenomenal singer.
He is.
What a singer he is.
Yeah.
But the women, oh my God, they fight like blokes in that family.
They do, yeah.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Proper Durquois family. That's what it is.
Taxi to Durker is one of his songs, isn't it?
It is. He's asking about you being a St. Helens fan these days. Is it right?
No, he's a dirty St. Helens fan. That's his claim to fame. Followed Scully, I think. Paul Sculthorpe, Kevin Sinfield, myself. The sort of three that people talk about that are associated with Waterhead Rugby League Club, Peach Road. Just this sort of watershed in Durker area, but we're all of a similar sort of demographic, all from a rough-edged upbringing. But I know Graham. Graham's another lad that's been on a trip to Ireland with me. I did a master's trip to Limerick. There's about 40 or 50 lads. Met a couple of mates of mine over there that had different pockets of rugby league teams.
Yeah.
We did a festival on the Saturday. Yeah, we did a festival on the Saturday. I thought it was the Friday. We did a festival on the Saturday. Drunk a lot on Saturday night, but drunk more on Friday night before the festival. So, yeah, Good times.
Owen, can I just ask a couple more of these because
Yeah,
there's
of course,
so
and
many
you carry
people
on now.
asking
Yeah,
these.
yeah.
Craig Lofthouse says, "What a quality player Barry was. Who was your favourite person to land a big hit on?"
My mate Terry O'Connor.
Terry.
I work with him all the time now. Terry O'Connor, for those that don't follow Rugby League, I started at Saddleworth, went to Waterhead, as you quite rightly said, went to Oldham. But before I signed for Oldham, I went on a Great Britain tour, an under-19s Great Britain tour to New Zealand. And I'd sort of always had my clashes with Terry O'Connor. But during that season that we went away with Great Britain, I got picked for Lancashire. Sort of put my sword down and thought, at least I know you're not going to back down. And if we're on the same team, you know, I'm going to sort of give you the time of day. And we were about 16, 17 when that happened. And he was my best man at my wedding. I probably speak to him more than I speak to the wife, to be fair. Although I haven't spoke to him for a while because we've just finished with Sky. We sort of give each other a break, stop pecking each other's heads. So when I got hold of him, I loved to give him a crack. I'll tell you a quick story. So his mum is a lovely old lady who sadly passed away this year. And I couldn't go to the funeral because of restrictions. Yeah, she's a lovely lady. So Teresa has always been a frail woman, always struggled with a little bit of some, illness. And this particular day, she was in a wheelchair. She was unwell. I played at Central Park, the old Wigan ground. We were losing badly. I'd give Tez a clout round the head because he was just being a gobshite. So I just thought, whatever happens in this game, you're having one because I'm not having you. We were going out for a few drinks around Wigan after. I thought, I'm not having you giving me shit all night. So then I got changed quickly, went up into the sort of suite where all the families were. My mum and dad hadn't travelled because they didn't tend to go to away games, but Tez's mum and dad were there. So shook Dennis's hand, ducked down to give Teresa a kiss, and she went like that. Cracked me right across the face. When are you two going to bloody grow up? I put my head down, and the smack, the slap was loud enough that everybody turned round. It caught everybody's attention. I was there like that. Anyway,
but did you have the respect for it though that you just?
I did.
I'm sorry.
I didn't listen to it all.
You didn't.
I'm sorry.
There's actually, I'm pretty certain there's a couple of videos dedicated to you and Terry on YouTube of nothing more than you scrapping with each other.
Yeah.
And that's your best mate.
Yes. But as I would say a lot of the time, in fact, it would be the mantra that I would take into every game. I don't have to dislike you to hit you. I just have to deem it necessary. And if it's necessary for me to hit you,
you're going to get a crack.
I think my mum's still got that theory.
Oh, we noticed that when she came in and
you're
not using it now either. John Hollingworth says, "What about that night outside the Cabaret?"
Is this the conversation we were having this afternoon?
I think it is. Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate to have a lot of things attached to my name in terms of sporting achievements, and since retiring, I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records for playing a game of rugby on top of Kilimanjaro. I've gone up to Everest Base Camp. I've done expeditions in the Grand Canyon, done all things. Yorkshire Three Peaks twice, National Three Peaks, but nobody cares. What they want to ask me is, are you the first person in Great Britain to be CS gassed? So, yeah, of course.
Is it true?
Of course it is, yeah. Of course it is. Listen, I never shy away from anything in my past. How can I be regretful of things in my past? Because I'm here and I'm living my best life. Like I said, my family, my friends, everything's where it should be. Was I a gobshite on the night? Yes. Was I as drunk as 10 men in the Cabaret Club? Without a shadow of a doubt. Had I done what they were accusing me of? No.
Right.
But the lesson of the day was listen and don't be straight away on the.
Was Terry with you that night?
No. A good pal of mine called Matt Lewis, who's about 9 stone wet through and wouldn't have been any good to me anyway. But he was very good at the moonwalk, just getting back into the crowd of people that were watching.
So what happened? For the sake of the people that haven't got a clue what went on, You know, we don't need to know the ins and outs, but what happened?
No, I'll tell you the short version. I got tapped on the nightclub, tapped on the shoulder, sorry, in a nightclub called the Cabaret Club that's not there anymore. Told to come outside to talk to a taxi driver. I hadn't done what they were accusing me to, but I were full of beer, and I just told them to, I told them where to
police,
go.
Was it?
Yeah,
right.
2 of them or 3 of them, I can't remember now. When I got outside, there were a few more. Not being put down on the floor was my job. So when things got a bit pushy and shovey, they tried to get me down on the floor.
You weren't going.
It was I was picking them up and throwing them and all sorts. So then a van turned up and more came out of this van, and it took a couple of CS spray canisters and a couple of truncheons and a good few policemen to put me down. But you'd be delighted to know, in the theory of redemption, I've got good pals now and do quite a bit for the Oldham OMP. So still trying to wipe some of those black marks off.
Good lad, and you keep doing that. Now, just a bit of an extension to this rumour, and I think I know the answer, but you've played all your career with one eye. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that was an accident when you were a kid?
15 in Alt. So if you know Medlock Valley at all, in Alt, just still, messing about with a mate and I with an air rifle, ricocheted off a plastic bottle, lit my nose and went into my eye. So yeah, I was going to go in the army. That was my plan, to go and travel the world and see places and meet people and get to experience different cultures and all the rest of it. And it just changed. 5th of December 1987 it was.
You remember it?
I do. For a long time. And it's funny, for a long time it used to be, what's coming up now. And, it was a landmark in the year that when I was living at home with my mum and dad on Gloric, we'd say, oh, you know what's coming up, don't you? And less and less, it just, it wasn't anything to talk about because it was just another date. So I still remember it, but don't take much notice of it.
But you know what you've achieved, I think, in your career has been astounding, considering the fact that I also don't think that everybody knew that you had. Do you call it a disability?
No, I don't. I don't. I think the fact that I referenced my family before. My family's the bedrock of everything that I've done, because although they've been concerned, worried, realistic sometimes, pragmatic, all those things that you expect your parents to be. At the end of every warning would be, but if you want to go and do it, you do it, and you do it as well as you can. I was always encouraged. Absolutely, yeah. Did
you do that with your kids?
I think so. I try and be supportive, but I think as parents we're all a little bit more protective than certainly my mum and dad were, because
it's different times, though, isn't it? It's different times. Because nowadays when kids go out and what have you, you knew as we went out with our mates, you knew all your mates had band together and stick together, and it's like the incidents at concerts and things where you hear of one wandering off. Well, that never happened to us, because if one wandered off, you'd all wander off. And I think nowadays that's what a lot of kids lack, that camaraderie with all the friends, and a lot of it's social media, because they're probably chatting to their mates like we're chatting now, rather than actually on the corner under the street lamp with a bottle of 2020 or, sharing a bottle of Woodpecker. So I totally get me. My kids are quite a bit old. My kids are in the 30s now, but I still worry about them. You just think growing up is completely different nowadays to what it was back then.
But you know what? I think that certainly when I was growing up, there was no mobile phones or anything like that. And I know I've mentioned it to you in the past, though.
Yeah.
That, no matter where you were and how far away from your house you were, you knew you had to be home by time. When street lights came on, right, it's home time. Or if your tea were ready, your mum would stand at the back door and shout you, no matter how far away you were. If you didn't hear her, one of your mates did, or a string of your mates did, and it got back to you, so you were home in time. And if you weren't, you got a clatter.
Yeah, and your mum always had bigger hands than your dad.
Yes. I've not mentioned to you in the past as well, my mum had a carpet beater, a wicker carpet beater on wall in kitchen, you know, and the amount of times that came down and because she claimed that it hurt her hand more than it hurt me when she cracked me. So, you know, I think, I mean, Barry's mum and dad clearly had the right idea in going, right, okay, you're either going to go down one path or we're going to take you to something, either boxing or rugby or one thing and another. And it's going to sort you out and it's going to give you the strength that you're going to need in life and the direction you're going to need in life, but it's also going to give you the discipline you're going to need in life.
Yeah, I think I always had an abundance of energy. I was always doing something. I was either on my skateboard, I was on my bike, I was bouncing a ball, I was kicking a ball, I was throwing a ball, or I was getting in trouble playing knock-a-door runaway. I was always doing something. So I think when I'd come home and I'd say, "Oh, Mum, you know, I go to school with Dennis Maid, his son Matthew. They've asked me to go up to rugby." I think my mum would go, "You get yourself up there," because at least she would know that was an output for that energy that I'd have, and she'd know where I was going to be for that amount of time. The fact that I came from a strong family where there were lots of women meant that it was nice to be around them when it was mealtime because there was always lots of food. But unless I wanted to sit on the settee smoking and drinking tea and listening to everybody else getting slaughtered, the people that weren't there, you know,
and even if you didn't want to smoke, you was going to be passive smoking, weren't you? Everyone else around you was.
So unless I wanted to do that, it were about getting out and playing out, as we used to call it.
Owen, do you know when you were young, did you used to play knock-a-door runaway?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Did you have any? I mean, we had a bit of a deviant, right? Because we used to play knock-a-door runaway with dog shit in a paper bag. Have you ever done that one?
Where you set fire to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
Have you never done that? So look at Barry now, right?
No.
Right, so you get a should I be saying this? So you get a paper bag, a brown paper bag, and put it, scoop a bit of dog shit.
Listen, I can put two and two together. I know what it is. I'm just questioning your moral compass here.
Well, listen, I were a kid growing up in Shaw, right? And we had, you know, obviously we had a little bit more resourcefulness than what the lads from Durka did. Yeah, I mean, we used to go sledging.
Probably just quicker.
Getting away.
Yeah.
So
we didn't have to create obstacles.
Oh, but so we'd put a match to it, leave it in the middle of the drive. You didn't put it near the house, you know. But we just used to find it hilarious when people put it out. But there you go. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Guys, we are running out of time ridiculously quickly here. What are you having for your Christmas dinner later on, mate?
Traditional. That's what I'm having. We're a lot smaller with everything that's going on, so just trying to be compliant and in the spirit of still seeing everybody. So just my mum and dad.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
see, and for me, it's not so much the dinner as the turkey and pickle butties later on tonight.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You end up eating turkey butties and turkey curries and one thing and another for next week afterwards because you always get too much turkey, don't you?
You can't beat it though, can you?
The answer to the question that you asked, what am I eating for Christmas? Everything I can get my hands on. Turkey, ham, Christmas pudding, chocolates, everything. I would go absolutely berserk. You can see from the size of me, I have a good appetite. And
Are you still a big eater?
Yeah, I am. That's why I train so much.
5 days a week?
4 to 5 days. I go to a gym in Delft. I do a lot of walking. I've got a 5-year-old staffy that wants walking 3 times a day. I'll do a little bit of running, not much, but I've still got that abundance of energy. I've just got very bad joints now, so I have to be careful.
Yeah, we're all like that now.
Owen, what are you expecting off the big guy later on?
I tell you what, all jokes apart, could do something in underpants and socks. If I get some of them, I'm happy.
What about you, Baz?
I'll get a surprise. I'm looking forward to surprise. However big or however small, I'm going to be very sentimental here. What we've learned in 2020 is it's not what's under your tree, it's who's around your table.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
I'm grateful that my mum and dad are still around and not fallen foul of this virus that we're in the middle of. But everybody that could be there, that all things being normal would be there, is still fighting fit and healthy. So it's a bit sentimental, but there you go. I'm a soft ass.
Don't blame you.
Well, I'm not going to say any more to that. I think you've just rounded that off perfectly. So, Owen Sherratt, happy Christmas to you, my mate.
All the best to you, Al, and all the best to you, Barry, too, mate.
You too, Owen. Nice to chat.
It's a real pleasure to meet you.
Merry Christmas. All the best.
Thanks, Al.
Very much.
See you soon.
See you in a bit.
Take care, mate.